live. Hello, everyone. And welcome to the 15th episode of the PiP Podcast. I am here with Khalid.
Hello, everybody. Yeah, it's me, Khalid.
Bet you're an imposter.
It happens too.
This is Thanksgiving week. So, if this is the only PiP that comes out this week, I hope everyone has a good Thanksgiving and doesn't get trampled Black Friday shopping.
No. Do you think there will be like a big crowd?
I'm iffy. I think there's a good possibility there's a big crowd. Because maybe some people saved like their stimulus checks waiting for this. I think that's a high possibility. There's also the fact that people might just want to get out.
Also true.
I also highly expect there to be a big surge in COVID. Mainly because I'm pretty sure Canada had one right after their Thanksgiving.
Oh, wow.
And especially since our Thanksgiving is followed by Black Friday.
Yeah.
So. Science. Anyway, do you want to start us off with the topic this time?
Oh, no, you can go for it.
Alrighty. So, do you know what Star Citizen is?
Yes.
They have added another development studio. Help develop it.
So is that going to make the game better looking or larger servers?
So it says CIG has partnered with Canadian company Turbulent to launch a studio dedicated to making new Star Citizen content. So basically, one of the main complaints about Star Citizen is that people think it's like a lie. They think it's one of those things where like you invest money into it and it's never going to come to like fruition.
Oh, like Day of Dragons?
I don't know what that is, but I assume so.
Okay, I'll run that one down whenever, but yeah.
But this is good because this means that more updates will be coming out like sooner. Because Star Citizen, in a way, reminds me of like Tarkov. Because of how it's set up, like how you buy it in early access and it still has a lot of things to do. Because Tarkov, all of the maps in Tarkov, like the hope is, for at least the developers, is that right now you have to choose what map you want to go to. In the future, they want it to all be on like one big map. So you'll go around like one big map and find all these areas. And Star Citizen's another one of those things, like they have so many promises that they have to catch up on. And also I think it's gorgeous. Like the game is just gorgeous, but I think it needs to be optimized a little bit more. Because, oh my god. I saw videos of people using the 3080 and only getting 30 FPS on it. And the 3080 is the new one.
Yeah, I remember you talking about that one.
Anyway, what is this dragon game? Day of Dragons, you said?
Yeah, so Day of Dragons was this crowdsourced game, or crowdfunded game that I can't remember the guy's name, Dow or whatever, came out with it, and he was talking about like it will be almost like, you know, Monster Hunter's variety of just different monster or different dragons, and they'll have their own environments and different powers and abilities to fly. And so people were hyped. Like a lot of Let's Play guys and streamers were super hyped and backing this game and giving them money. And then the release was like he did like this concept thing, a proof of concept, and it was asset they like a pre-used asset, like they pre-generate asset from you can buy from a pack. And this is like this little dragon just walking around and doing stuff, and it's supposed to be almost like the like survival. It's a survival game, but you're dragons and you have to survive against other dragons. So kind of like Ark in a way as well, but again, you're just dragons. And so people are like, okay. It was going to be different environment. So the one that they released, it was in a forest. And so
actually,
yeah, because I mean, it was talked about, and they were going to do it, and then the guy was like just went silent, and people would interview him and he'd get upset about the interviews and the questions they asked, which were legitimate questions, and then he just didn't release anything. And after a while, he asked for more money, then released concept art. So he did hire concept artists to make these really cool looking dragons. So people got back on board of like, okay, the hype train is real. And then it just did the same thing where he just cycled off, and it's like there's a final like interview, and it's just like I've said that it's almost like someone's like uncle who sees video games and kind of like smoking a cigarette go, I can make a game, I can do that, just, you know what I mean? And that it's really like the way that he talks and what he says, and you're just like, okay, all right. And it's just really just con artists and just changing the subject, a lot of stuff. And then so then everyone now in the community is kind of like, okay, Day of Dragons isn't happening. But yeah, it was kind of strange.
Yeah, I don't doubt that that's probably not happening.
Yeah. So I think that is different because at least they I feel like they have a stronger like fan base backing to get it done. So I'm excited to see that one. Well, I'm excited, I guess, because it sounds like more of a backseat gaming thing. So I think I'm more excited to hear what people have to say about it.
Yeah.
But yeah, good old Star Citizen.
Well, did you hear that the creator of Tokyo Ghoul announced a new manga, or his next manga?
Ooh, no. Does he any synopsis drops?
He said it'll be titled like Chojin X or Chojin X. I'm not sure. It's an O with a line on it over it.
Okay. So that's a long.
Translates to Superhuman X.
Oh.
And he unveiled a drawing of it that I think looks pretty cool. If anyone would like to look at it, you just type in like Superhuman X and you'd probably be able to find it. Definitely reminds me of Tokyo Ghoul in the way that he's standing.
That'd be kind of cool.
Yeah, I think it'll be pretty good. At least the title makes it sound like it'll be pretty good.
Yeah.
And the manga for Tokyo Ghoul, in my opinion, was better than the anime. So.
Yeah, sometimes that's the case. It depends. Because I know I've had a conversation about like dub versus sub. Yeah. And I keep forgetting the two. I think it's Salty Ray, which is a very enjoyable anime, but one of them, the Japanese dub, everyone's speaking like cryptic, vague, like all the dialogue is like cryptic and broken and like fragment sentences and or like fractured sentences, and you're just like, what are you talking about? And the English team went in and made them like coherent. Like it's hard to explain, but yeah, like it would just, I mean, it's just, I don't know. It's really weird the way that they had the characters speaking. Like, I don't know. It's a really, I have to rewatch the show, but yeah, it's just like, it should have been a normal like dialogue back and forth. And then the person would basically just say, yeah, it's raining just like that one day. It's kind of thing. Just like, what does that mean? Or everyone's crying just like we did. You're like, what are you talking about? Like, what does that even have to do with anything? And then the English version would actually do it where it will throw back to the character's origins. It's like, well, I haven't stopped crying after the war. It's like, okay, or after these people. They'll make it more comprehensive. Because like some of them were over the top and the dialogue had nothing to do with the situation. And it's like, why would you say that? Like, he asked a simple question.
The thing I disliked about like the Tokyo Ghoul anime is that I think it's Root of A is the second season.
Oh, okay.
the end part, like the last episode, is like, I don't know, it's like something crazy, like 5 to 10 minutes of him just walking down the street. Not an exaggeration.
Hmm.
And then at the very end, it just like he lays his friend's body down, and then it cuts to black, basically.
Wow.
To show the fight, like the cool fight that ensued right there at the end.
Oh yeah, you told me about that.
Yeah, that I was like, what? Because I did at that point I didn't read,
Mm-hmm.
and then like I saw there was more, and I looked at the manga. I was like, oh my god, I thought it was just done.
Yeah.
So
Now, did you see about Yu Yu Hakusho? Because Yu Yu Hakusho has a live action movie. Have you seen that?
nope.
It's I blew my mind because I think I've heard about it, and it just like, okay, whenever that comes out, it just whatever. So then I was talking to Josh, and I was just talking about, you know what, it'd be kind of funny if they do have one, and then he looked up, like, oh, it does, and it came out this year. I'm like, what? It looks really good though. I don't know if you're a Yu Yu Hakusho fan, but it looks pretty cool.
I like Yu Yu Hakusho.
I like the song.
A little bit of it. I mean, I referenced the spirit gun the other day.
Yes. Like,
can I have a spirit gun?
I think that's but it's I'm interested in seeing it. My track record with live action anime is kind of a hate situation, not a love hate, but just a hate. I think. Well, there's some good ones. Rurouni Kenshin's good, but I think I've discussed about the problem with Rurouni Kenshin. The live action version. I actually like the Bleach. I know, like, you might, as a Bleach fan, might have judged it differently, but I did enjoy it.
I'm watching it.
Okay. I mean,
I might watch it after the final arc gets animated, but not until then.
There's some really good parts in it, and I was just like, me again being like, because I think I saw, because I watched the Full Metal Alchemist live action one, and it was just like, what are we doing? Because again, they had to condense a whole season into one movie, basically.
Did they put Nina in there?
Yep.
Okay.
that was the CG Nina I used to make people sad with.
Oh, okay. That makes sense. I'm glad.
But yeah, I mean, they had to. I don't think Scar's not in there though. But like, it's very funny. Oh yeah, I don't think he's in there, or maybe he is in there. I forget.
I don't want to see it. He was one of my favorite characters, and I think
1 out of 10.
Very
because what I think they're doing is that they want to do sequels, and that was like the thing. So like my biggest like takeaway from that was that the girl that played Winry was like, she really hammed it up when it comes to just her acting, and she wasn't like, you can't say a really good actress, but then there was a part where Al makes Ed sad because he's like, I'm just a construct, I'm not real, and Edward's like visibly sad, and she like hits him for it, and right at that point, she's a phenomenal actress. Like her lines, her dialogue, her acting is great, and you're just kind of like, where did this come from? And then it switches back to just being a bad actress again. It's really weird. But yeah, like Al, the stuff is really good, like the environment and the special effects. But I guess it's like the Attack on Titan thing, where you're just like, you're in a European-esque country, and then it's just like all Japanese actors, and it's like that's the same feeling of like Ghost in the Shell in that situation. But yeah, I don't know.
Robert's over here trying to talk smack in the chat.
About what, Bleach?
Yeah.
Oh, well, it's funny because I think I went over the whole like Arrowed situation, where like, so technically you have the information to Arrow Robert.
Yeah, because I remember you asking me questions that he was like, that he questioned, and I gave you an answer to all of them.
Yeah. Yeah, so they all have like reasons. The loopholes, like the plot holes, have reasons.
If there's any plot holes that you think of, Robert, most of them, if not all of them, they're just written. They're no longer holes in the final arc, which they're animating now. So
But yeah. I think there's I'm trying to think, was there another adaptation that was coming out? But I cannot think of it right now. I lost it. I think there was an animation, a live action of something coming out of anime, but I can't think of what it was. But yeah.
Now,
So no.
I think yesterday WoW Shadowlands came out.
Okay.
I'm not a big WoW fan, but I'm pretty sure that's what came out. Not sure. Robert, is that true, or am I just lying? It could have came out earlier. It probably did. Possibly.
I'll ask my WoW guild members.
Okay, he said yeah, that's true. For some reason it says the initial release date on Google is October 27th, but I was watching a stream the other day and they said it came out tomorrow. So now it was confusing. Anyway, I don't know much about WoW, but I know we're going to lose Trey to WoW and Robert probably for a few days.
I mean, as long as he can make it every other Sunday, then he can stay in WoW forever.
And Robert said it got pushed back. Yeah, apparently Trey and his brother Guy are rewatching One Piece.
Oh, nice.
Because that's all Guy can really do right now is like watch shows and stuff.
I mean, it's a good show.
I feel like if I need to get into it, I need to skip like through the first part.
So here's the thing. I would say to dance around.
Wait, someone told me, was it you that only watched the parts of Zoro in it?
No, but I'm agreeing. Like, because I mean, like, I really wish they would do a One Piece Kai kind of thing, because I do like when Luffy first meets Zoro and then when he meets Usopp, like the meeting of the characters kind of thing, but just like cut out a bunch of it and just get to what needs to happen. Yeah. Because Nico Robin started off as a technically like an antagonist. I won't say villain, but she was an antagonist, and then she became the lovable, awesome bookworm archaeologist, smart girl that is Nico Robin. Like
Brielle into.
Was that?
So what we're turning Brielle into.
Oh, Brielle. Well, see, Brielle doesn't. She like so. Nico Robin's like a bibliophile. She loves reading books and so forth. Brielle, well, she has hobbies and loves, but you know. I mean, I guess it's kind of I don't know, because it's a very funny thing, because you think about it, like if Nazir didn't blow up the tavern. So I did have Quest Company in my mind at one time, but obviously there was no Brielle.
Yeah.
And just that idea of just like, what would be the interactions between the Justifiers and Quest Company, or were they ever met, or just different like interesting things, but at the same time, like because of the mishap with Brielle, now she's a prominent character in the Justifiers like existence.
It's for the really most part. Funny to think about like Cody's reaction. Cody's reactions are like my favorite sometimes. You'll like say something, he's like, "Oh, come on, man!" Really? And then it's like Nazir wants to do something, so he's saying why he wants to do it, and then Cody's like, "But Brielle's here. You can't really do anything. You're on a tight leash." And I'm like, "Do you see half the stuff you do?"
Yeah.
It's really funny. I like that dynamic. I enjoy it more with Cody there, because I think Nazir, while he can step up and be like a leader at some points, I don't think he was a good leader for like a big group. Maybe like small tactical like groups, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I get you.
Because it was like with Noah and Trey, it was like, we can do whatever, and then I'm just sitting there like, well, what's whatever? What are we doing? I guess I'm gonna choose.
Yeah, and I mean, what I do love about, I mean, D&D in general when it comes to parties is that, but I'm getting to see it more with this game is that there's a group dynamic where everyone has like their roles and their personalities, but then there's like your set piece, like how Lovecraft Country you have your episodes where it just kind of focuses on one or two characters. So even in the game, there's that where it's just like when these characters are now together, when they're not usually together, they're dynamic. Like Nazir and Fior with the hissing guy, you know what I mean? Like Democles and Gion, or you know what I mean? So and like even like when it was like Kira, Democles, and Nazir dealing with the people who are like making people pay tolls for illegal gain,
melting people.
Yeah, melting people. So yeah, so you mean like there's always this change up. Like how does it work when these people are together? How does it work with these people together? And I think it played
to see like Gion and Damocles because I don't think they've had that yet necessarily.
No, yeah, because right now they just met back up and Melanie started leading Damocles away from where he's supposed to be. I still think that's wonderful, man. Like
it's funny because like in game, Nazir was just like not having it. He was just like, Gion, you're gonna have to stay here with her. Thinking Gion,
yeah,
be smart enough as a druid to know.
Like
led away.
It's like smart enough as a druid, but like base level as an adult to not get tricked by this persuasive little girl. It's just like, come on, guy.
Actually, I think now I think about it, he was playing his character correctly.
Yeah.
I would say. Because the way he described his character to me was just a person that goes wherever the wind takes him.
Exactly, yep.
So Melanie was like, look at this. And he's like, okay, I'll come look at that.
It's like, I always say it, but I mean, there's parts that I would love to see animated or even acted out in like some kind of like live action thing, and that is another scene where it's just goofy enough to be funny.
There has to be like, if that scene gets acted out, like it needs to have like a short like little clip of just the audio.
Oh yeah,
being like, you're just gonna let Nazir ride you, and then Gion going, do I look cool? Then yes. As long as I look cool.
That's great.
Because he turned into a horse.
That's awesome. See, good. No, go.
I was about to say one thing. I keep saying I'm really excited for the D&D. I'm like waiting for this big combat with this demon thing that's coming.
Oh yeah.
Like I don't know if it's gonna be a combat, but I feel like if it isn't gonna be a combat, we're somehow gonna turn it into a combat.
Yeah. that meme you sit where it's just like you come late with pizza. Your party's in the middle of a TPK. There's like a fire, someone's unconscious. Like, my goodness gracious. Well, I think that's actually happened, hasn't it? Because we've played a session that Artorias hasn't been in the game. Well, the flesh iron golem.
Yeah.
He came in, he was like, what? And I think there's another one too. We're just kind of like...
It was so funny, like, explaining to him that we weren't trying to kill the golem. We were just trying to trap it. He's like, but you're in the room with it. And I'm like, I know. I'm trying to trap it in the room.
Yeah, that's really good. It's just like that concept of RPG, and it's like no one says you can't role play while in combat, and I think that's important. Because there's like the three that have, because I think this game has helped me evolve it, because there was like, if we have a really heavy combat session or two, then I usually will do an RPG heavy session to kind of like, so it's not constant. But then there, every once in a while, there will be that where it's like a loose initiative, and it's kind of just like you're fighting, but you're trying to more talk to each other and so forth. Because with like because I think sometimes there's a point where it's like initiative slows time down if you think about it, like in combat, where it's like a split second, all this stuff is happening.
Yeah.
But I do feel that there are some times where it should be happening real time. The conversations, the confusions and stuff should be happening real time.
I think one thing you should do first, because this is something that I'm going to do, I think we should get some hourglasses.
Oh yeah, no, that's a thing. Because I'm trying to find the right thing
on the table for it.
Because it's funny because there's one of the DM screens that I'm making. It's called Chronos, and it actually has gears in it. And when you turn the gear on behind the screen, it actually will flip an hourglass. But yeah, so what I'm looking for is I'm trying to find it will come to me. And so I want to get an egg timer, and then so I can just mount it, and then I can just spin the egg timer. So yeah, but the reason why I haven't gotten is because so far there hasn't been a situation that I've been wanting to get it, and this is the tipping point to get it. But oh yeah, no. Every time I go into Hobby Lobby, I go, ooh, it's hourglasses. I want to get 2. Why call it? I can't justify it. So, but what about this game? That's not happening. Okay, all right. So I just don't get them.
When I go in the Hobby Lobby as well, it's like, ooh, I want to get this. It's like, nah, you don't need it. Don't get it.
Because there's one that's like black sand. It's suspended, and you actually grab there's like a, like the eyelet screws. Like it's just like you screw it in, it has like the ring. So that's the thing. You just like turn it by that, and it flips the glass for you, and it's just like beautiful. And I can already see where it could sit, but I'm like, no, I don't have that yet. Because so when Zymarcus's tower was falling, I was thinking about getting an hourglass. Well, technically, it was before even this game happened. I was like, should I get hourglass for this event? And I'm like, well, I don't know when this would be. And then it finally happened. I was like, I don't want one. But yeah. Oh yeah, most definitely.
I think hourglass timers could go really well in like an a RP event more than like a combat, maybe.
Yes.
Maybe like what you were talking about, like the loose initiative combat. I think it'd go well there.
Because Zymarcus's tower, technically it was a part where it was a time-based thing.
Yeah.
But that was like, I played it by ear because it's saying like if people are coming up with ideas and so forth. So if it's players who are like, okay, these are ideas, what we're gonna do it, then I'm like, okay, time base. If it was more just like, okay, we need to have a plan, then it was just like the minute everyone said we have a plan, that's when the minute problems happen kind of thing. And then I allow it to play out. But like, yeah, because one of the things is just like, DM tip is that not only the enemy is the problem, not only is the like monsters or other minions the problem, but it's like the environment can also be a problem. So the environment itself can also be an encounter. Like, what if it's in an active volcano? What if the room is flooding? Kind of thing. So it falls into that one, and so I don't know. I still would like to get an hourglass. Maybe get like an hourglass and then have it where we put in the fairy lights.
Oh.
So it just turns red, flips hourglass upside down, and like, oh my god, something is wrong here.
So let me ask you this: have you ever had a player try and run a business in your D&D game?
Technically, I'd say, well, technically, yeah, because technically, what's his name? Democles wants to run a business.
Actually running a business.
Yeah, so because I'm trying to think if there's one people like running it. I don't think so at this point. I know how to run it, but I don't think I have one that's doing it now. Wait, sorry. Well, technically, yes. So, it's Pathfinder. So Pathfinder, they were monster hunters, so they were running a business. And that was their business, was monster hunting and just trying to do so forth. So yes, in a way, yes, but not obviously not D&D. But go ahead.
So one of my players sent me like literally like 10 pages of notes or something earlier.
Mm-hmm.
Legit just about running a business.
That's wonderful.
And it's he drew a logo.
Mm-hmm.
He named what all they're gonna be selling. Like he came up with the names, what they're gonna be. So it's a bakery.
Mm-hmm.
And he came up, it's a dragon bakery, so they sell dragon bread. So based on what type of dragon bread you get is how it's gonna taste.
That's interesting.
For example, a red dragon bread will be medium-sized bread. It has red pepper mixed in spices, like other spices like cayenne and I don't know what that is.
Jalapeno?
It's served hot. No, it starts with an H.
Habanero?
Maybe. I'm not sure. This is all like handwritten. He took a picture of the pages and sent them to me. I'm like, oh, that's pretty cool. Yeah, then I couldn't help but laugh when he wrote down the different types of dragons. He said dragon types. And at first I was like, there's way too many on here. And then so obviously I know he started making it up after he got down like the real ones. So
Yeah.
it goes from like all the chromatic and the metallic. And then it goes mood, sun, river, earth. And I'm like, what is this?
Which, I mean, there are the gems dragons, right?
Yeah, and then like he continues on. It goes like coiled, celestial, spirit, typhoon, amethyst, emerald, sapphire. Like then he got those. I don't know how many of those. I know sapphire is one of them. I don't know how many of those is like actually canon. But either way, and I was like, nice. Because these are just going to be like the names and how he sells the bread and stuff like that. So,
we missed a meme there.
What?
So a dwarf comes in. I want some bread. We have red dragon. Fine. Why is it spicy?
Why is it spicy?
Let's go. Oh man.
I don't know because I explained to him how like janky 5E's economy is just based in the book. I think adventurers get all this gold, and so they're expecting all the peasants to have all this gold.
Yeah.
When in reality, I think in the book or something, it explains that peasants make like 5 gold a year.
Well, so like when because I think, have you read the DMG or just the Player's Handbook?
I go through the DMG from time to time.
Because I think in there they talk about like, because so you have, if you go through like the DMG and the Player's Handbook, like purchasing, so you can play off of that, where it's just like, because I think there is a running your business section for downtown activities, downtime, not downtown, downtime activities. And so basically, you think about it, they can do that exact same thing, where it's like it becomes a mini game, and then you just look at like how much that stuff is. Because I know like cost of living, you can do, if you do like what's it called? Trying to think of the tiers. Basically, like if you're living in squalor, or if you live like luxurious, then luxurious, they actually show you like what you're paying for inns and food and so forth. So kind of reverse engineer it. If on the like shopping list, if like bread is this much, then that's basically how much they sell it for, unless it's a special bread, and that might bring like nobility aristocrats, because like, ooh, I want dragon bread, that's not going to be for commoner kind of thing, and I'm playing off that way.
It's like they basically live in Eltergard right outside of Baldur's Gate, but it's like a different version of Eltergard that's been destroyed multiple times. But it's basically gotten to the point, because there was a time skip of 20 years due to the crossover. I greatly enjoy, because now everyone forgets that it's been 20 years and they're like, oh my god. But so now it's kind of grown into a smaller Waterdeep. I picture it as Waterdeep, but on to like a smaller scale, but all the buildings are similar to how it's laid out there.
Okay, hold on real quick. So you know how my cat is, right?
Yeah.
So he is really determined to lay close to me. So this cat is balancing his whole body on my neck, and I'm just confused. So all right, he gave up. All right, continue. Like the whole body just on my neck. All right.
But yeah, it's just like Deep City, Waterdeep, where all the buildings are really close together.
Mm-hmm.
That's sort of how it's set up right now.
Mm.
And then they have like a keep in the middle of it.
Mm.
But I think it'll be fun. Because I think what I'm gonna do is like I have a whole thing. I think I might incorporate the DMG thing as well.
Yeah.
But I have an idea. Because I don't want it to be just like a constant inflow of just like really good money. I want it to be sort of like it'll help them, but it's not gonna like be crazy. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. Because I think it's
I was gonna say I think most of the income for it should be mostly going back into it per se, because I think that's how most businesses would be ran back then.
Yeah, just enough to eat and then just keep going.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah.
Yeah, and I think. I was talking to you about this Genasi half tiefling.
Yeah.
So for those who don't know, in D&D, there's types of humans. So technically, they're considered human race, but their ancestry goes far back enough or more recent that causes them to have certain features. So tieflings have infernal background. Someone down their lines or someone quite close have made deals or like made it and paired with demons and had children with demons or devils. And then these humans are born, they catch the recessive gene to have like horns and tails and hooves and so forth. Asmars are the opposite, where it's angels or celestials, and that's the case. But then you have your Genasi. So Genasis, they fall within the elements. Some say that it's because of their genie ancestry. So the genies are broken into the ones of just different elemental backgrounds. And so the Genasi humans reflected. They call it the plane touch, like the planes of elements. So you have, of course, your four elements. But I was saying that a Genasi, like a fire Genasi, because some of them just have like reddish skin or like burnt charcoal skin or gray skin, something that just just kind of imitates the idea of like fire. Some of it's bright red and orange. But then their hair can be just bright red or bright orange. But some Genasi's hair is actually a light. Some just glows like luminescence, and some is actually just a fire on their heads. But I think that'd be kind of cool. And that concept of a person, again, it's a super hardcore, like homebrewed, like race. But the concept of just, I think for flavor, there's a person who's like a tiefling. So they have like the demonic look, the horns, but then they have that flaming hair coming off of them. And to me, technically, both of them are quote unquote humans, but I think it'd be just kind of cool to see. And I'd probably do it so like the flavor of do you remember Winter Rose or Rose, the paladin from Crown?
Yes. There's no way I wouldn't remember him.
Was that?
So there's no way I wouldn't remember him.
Oh, okay.
Because
so
I feel like he white, a white dragonborn mixed with red.
Correct. Yeah.
Yes.
He's like his whole body is white, and then he has like a red patch that blooms off of his chest.
Yes.
But so with him, I was just like, well, how would this character work? And so personally, I was like, okay, well, if this was a player character, then I would do you after a short or long rest. Then that's how you can switch your breath weapon.
What? You telling me I could do that? I could have done that.
So yes and no, because I just
session 0 with you. I had it with Noah. He didn't know anything, and my character turned out better than his.
Yes, I'm still to this day. I'm concerned and confused why he has he had a 14 in his strength as for a barbarian. It just doesn't I don't know. I feel like I failed him, but at the same time I feel like I've explained it, so I don't know. I just don't know how it came. But yeah, so yeah, well, to me, technically, Rose came about later on, so it was his creation. It's kind of like that person who's just like, I don't like this, and then it's born. It's like, I love them kind of thing. It's like, well, so it's like that concept, the grandparent or the parent concept, where it's like, I don't know about that, but then it's like, okay, well, what if a player wanted that? Yeah, I would have allowed it.
I found a picture of a Dragonborn Earth Ganassi monk.
Okay, that's my thing. So it's a Dragonborn?
Yes, and it looks pretty cool.
I mean, I guess so. But so I guess that's the thing. The plain touch seemed to affect more humans because they're technically humans.
Because with the specific Dragonborn, I think it's a blue one.
Mm-hmm.
And his skin just looks more rocky than scaly.
Yeah.
But he still has just regular Dragonborn features. So.
Well, I don't know. So I mean, but yes, I'll say that. So yeah, so spoiler, but whatever is that. I mean, I would think that heroes would think that, but yeah, Winter Rose or the Rose can breathe fire and then long rest and breathe, or short rest and breathe, cold damage. He just can't do them both back to back. It's just kind of a choice of which one to do.
I feel like our party is missing a spellcaster. I think we need another spellcaster.
Okay. I mean, because we do have Kira.
Do we, though? Do we?
Okay, Joe Manganiello. Okay. If that, do you understand that reference? I can explain it.
Does he really play D&D?
Yeah. I'll explain that one. So, Vin Diesel is known to play Dungeons and Dragons. He came out I love it and so forth, and all the fans will Dungeons and Dragons trivia, Vin Diesel trivia, he plays Dungeons and Dragons. So Joe Manganiello, he was Flash Thompson in Spider-Man. He was Deathstroke. He was in Magic Mike. He was I think a werewolf or something in what's that name of that movie or show? True Blood. So he has these different roles, whatever, but he's this big jockey dude, and he just loves Dungeons and Dragons. Played when he was little, when he was scrawny, and still plays it today. He's a big advocate. So I think it was Steve the Colbert late night, and so he was like, "Yeah, I heard Vin Diesel plays Dungeons and Dragons," and he just puts his finger to his lip and goes, "But does he?" And the audience oh, it's well, I mean, but does he? And he's like, "What do you mean?" It's because then he explains because he has a memorial dungeon he built for Gary Gygax, the creator of Dungeons and Dragons, or one of the co-creators of Dungeons and Dragons. And so he's everyone comes to his house. I mean, Vince Vaughn, James Gunn, et cetera, a bunch of people come to his house to play D&D. He's it's the hub for Dungeons and Dragons in LA. And he's I haven't seen him there. So he's oh, okay. All right, bro. So that's just does he? But yeah. So no, I think a spellcaster would be fun. I already told you I've lamented my ideal player. I mean, and I say that, but I was again, all my boys at the table, yes. but I feel like this one player would just help like put it all together in just like nonsense in the best way possible.
You said all my boys. Are you talking about the people that are already there?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. The boys.
The boys. Not the boys who go around trying to kill superheroes. The boys who go around blowing up cities and taverns and
memeing.
And memeing. Not as much.
Did we play Dancing Queen? Was that?
Yes, you played Dancing Queen. Well, I mean, same time it was like Dancing Queen to a lute because Iron/Flesh Golem, old life likes to dance. So it was allowable. It was allowable.
It was a meme, and it was great.
But that works. But yeah. Yeah, it'd be very interesting. I mean, that's the thing, though. Like, I would say that, yes, another spellcaster would be good, but if we were to get, like, one or two new players, I think that it's just, like, whatever they want to play.
Yeah. I remember when I was making my character, I was like, might go Paladin. And that's, like, something I never do, because my characters tend to, like, teeter the spectrum, which is why chaotic neutral is the thing. This is the place to be.
Yeah.
But you were like, yeah, I think our paladin wants to be the only paladin. I was like, man, then I won't be a paladin. And then I joined, you're like, I thought you were gonna be a paladin. I was like, you said I'm a paladin. And then I forgot about it. And then the other character, Stevie's character, came in and was a paladin. I was like,
yeah, she was a paladin too. I was like, oh, because I mean, I was like, and the funny thing, because I asked Cody, I was just like, do you mind her being a paladin? He's like, oh, I don't mind. I'm like, Cody, this whole thing. But I mean, at the same time, though, it kind of works out because she was a temporary part of the game, and then the stuff Nazir has done as a fighter fits who he is more. You know what I mean? Like,
I like the because the thing was, he wasn't going to be Nazir wasn't even a thing then at that point. The paladin thing was like me preparing to make it. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And so I remember just looking through the player's handbook, because that was the only book we had, in the dark, no light. We were using candles because the power went out. I think it was storming. And then we were just like, do you know what to do? And he was like, kinda know what to do. And that's what we were asking you. And I remember the first session, I was like, look over my character sheet, make sure it's okay. It's like, I feel like something got fucked up, but it didn't. So.
It's like, I'm serious about some D&D. Because, like, was it? I mean, it's like, hey, what are you doing? I'm going to meet this Jacob guy. What are you doing right now?
What?
When you first was introduced to me, it was literally like, hey, I'm at the store. Bring Will.
Yeah, I was like, what? Because you were like, Noah's coming to pick you up. No, I was like, okay.
Yeah.
This wasn't planned, but okay.
That works. Yeah. So it would be very interesting because it was like, if you think about like shows and other things where there are like characters that will mainstay characters and other characters that will rotate in and out kind of thing.
Yeah.
And just how that dynamic would work. So I'm a people watcher, and I feel like in some aspects it's an experiment of like, okay, well, what happens when we introduce these new players into it, kind of thing, and how does that work with the dynamic? So when introducing like Stevie and Galarian, like how did that go? And even like saying, okay, yeah, Trey's fine, yeah, bring him in, and just, you know what I mean, like, because there's still some characters from that and just what it looks like.
It was funny how I called Trey's character Galarian the other day.
Oh yeah.
No, it's so nonchalant. I was like, "What about Galarian?" Everyone just looked at me and was like, "Galarian?" Like, oh, I mean, Gion.
I mean, but to be fair though, like I've said it and had it in the back of my mind, and technically, like I think if you stretch the word, like the letters for Galarian fit into Gion. You know what I mean? Like you stretch the word out, just set them in. But for some strange reasons, I would keep calling Fior Jog. I don't know why. A druid versus like a hexblade. Don't know why. I would two different stories, two different characters, two different races, but for some strange reason, I would just every once in a while slip and just call him Jog. Don't know why I did it. It's just really weird. But
I do think we should go get Galarian, like his petrified body, because I want to fight the Beholder.
Mm-hmm.
And I also want Galarian to be a centerpiece in our manner.
So it's not greater restoration. It's just literally just to have him in the house.
Yeah, well, I mean, we'll always know where he is then.
Fair enough.
I think it's funny how, like, backstory-wise, Nazir and Galarian have probably crossed paths before, possibly.
Yeah, possibly.
That's what we said because of Rash, the criminal contact.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's just like Nazir's like, well, he got wrecked. Forget about it.
Yeah, he's around. I mean, his coin is in safe hands. A 3-year-old.
Yeah, it's probably not a good idea for me to pressure the 3-year-old to flip the coin, but I'm going to anyway.
It can only end well, honestly. That'd be great. Now, off topic within podcast, was there any other news you wanted to talk about?
I think Fallout 76.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't played it. I just heard it was bad when it came out.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It had a expansion come out.
It
actually came out 1 week ahead of schedule, so I don't know how to feel about that.
Huh. Now, aren't they doing a new Fallout?
I don't know.
I thought there was one like on the way. Yeah.
I haven't seen anything about a new Fallout.
Something's Fallout. Because was it
Fallout 76 Wastelanders? What?
Maybe. Yeah. Okay. So I think it was like the new Fallout, but I didn't like look more into it about what it was. It was untitled.
People are saying based on the releases of Fallout 3 and Fallout 4, it's logical to expect it in 2022.
Yeah.
Like Fallout 5 or something like that. Oh, there's Fallout 4 New Vegas, I think. That's like a mod.
Okay. So I think that's it.
I think. New Vegas. No, I was playing Fallout earlier.
It's weird. I love that game.
Whispering Hills mod, which I think.
Oh yeah, the Whisper. Yeah, real Silent Hill head. Because it's really weird because that one there's certain games I love backseat gaming, and Fallout is one of them. I love just watching it play. Like I'd actually watch Robert play and then just commentate the whole time.
So the Whispering Hills mod, for people that don't know, it turns into Silent Hill.
Mm-hmm.
But he also has like the Siren Head mod in there as well, I think.
Yep.
And he has like fog and like darker nights. He has like all the scary like mods in, which is really funny because he's not good with scary games.
He's not. God bless him. I'm glad though. My goodness gracious.
I heard him scream a couple of times, but there was one point where he's walking and he said his headlamp died, so it's just dark. And so I just go, we can do this the easy way, or we can do this the hard way. He said something came at him, he started shooting. I'm like, I see you chose to do this the hard way.
I don't know, because I know that you played Dead Space 3, but if you could get that man to play Dead Space, like I think 2 is better, but 1 is great too because they really pushed on like music and just like sound and like dynamic sound. So it's just like the things are happening because the guy who bought it when I first played it, he bought the game, then called me. It's like, hey, do you want to come over to my house? I was playing this game and I remember I don't like scary games. And so I go over there and he has like a surround sound and I'm like walking, trying to focus. And then I hear something like wrench fall in the vents and I'm like, what? And he's like giggling in the corner, reading a book. I'm like, really, man? Like, really? And just that concept of like something runs in the vents. It starts on one side of the room and it crawls across. Like you can hear it moving because of the speaker directions and so forth. So
I would love to play the Dead Space games. I think me, you, and Noah at some point should all get together and like do that.
Okay.
But I think if we do that, we need to get it on PC. And
on board.
There are reshade and like realistic mods for it that make it look better and more realistic that I'm dying to see. Because Dead Space is already like, even back then, already looked really good.
Yes.
And it's like Noah has a 2080 Ti in his computer.
Yeah, because I mean, to throw a little shade, so I have it on 360, but when I first played it on, PlayStation 3. So when I'm watching, because they have particle effects like dust floating in the air.
Yeah.
So in the 360 version, it's really just a screen. It's just a mapping screen where just like it's just moving across. The dust is moving set spacing. But in the PlayStation 3 version, they're actual like literal like particle effects that are floating through. I'm like, dang, man, PlayStation 3 is doing like that. So just that concept of just that little minute detail that it means a whole lot. I would love to see it upgraded, just to see what that would look like.
Yeah, I think was this? Dead Space. Oh, Dead Space 2 2020 ray tracing.
What?
You know how terrifying this is gonna be if we get Noah to play this? Because like, while I would enjoy playing it, I want to see Noah play it.
Exactly. Because I've had because I've played it through and then I was playing Dead Space 2, and then Robert wanted to play it, and I've said this before. I am envious because I love the game, played it, but I had more fun watching him play this game than playing it myself. Because the jump scares, because again, I played it so often that there are jump scares and I'm just like watching intently. And I forgot that Robert wasn't used to these jump scares. So it was getting him and I'm just like chuckling and just watching and enjoying what's happening. And it's just like, man, it's kind of unfair that I'm enjoying the game more here than when first playing it. But yeah. But I think I'll love to watch Noah go through it for the first time, especially it's a toss up because 1 has some really good moments in it, and again the sound, but two they push the anxiety to a point where people have turned the game off or pause the game and just like, you know what, I'm just gonna play something else for a bit, and I love it. I love that concept of that game being scary.
3, I wouldn't say it was scary. It was fun. And like,
yeah, it was horror action.
All the guns, that was fun.
Mm-hmm.
Like puzzles or whatever you would call puzzles in the game. It was fun. It was all fun. But it wasn't scary. And I want, like Dead Space 2, like you said, it was more anxiety. Was it Dead Space 2 where they're like getting ready to stick the needle in his eye?
Is the eye? I can't think if that's the eye. I think that is that's the eye. The eye game.
He is gonna hate that. He's gonna be like, oh.
It's just that hype. That's wonderful. That makes me very, very happy in a way.
We can, I don't know, we can put it on like a big TV or something.
Mm-hmm. Love to see him do that.
Like, because what we could do is have him play it like on his monitor, but also mirror the screen to an actual TV.
Oh, so the terrible thing is like, so we're watching it from the TV, and then he's just kind of technically by himself playing.
Yeah, like we're not behind him. We're like off to the side of him. Or we're on the other side of his monitor so we can see him jump from behind the TV.
That's wonderful.
But I think that would be the way to do it, because I think like having him play on a computer monitor would be better, because I think smaller screens are just better, but also we wouldn't be able to see it if it's on his monitor. So
it'd be cool to rig it in a way where it's above him, like behind him, but above him, so we can like watch the screen and then watch his face, then watch this. You know what I mean? Like we can flip from both, and yet the light isn't glaring on the screen. But again, we can see him.
To do that and then have it like as a talk show, like do a PiP doing it. So like it's streaming, like it's legit. It's streaming the game, and then you have like maybe like a little webcam of just me and you sitting on a couch.
Yes,
commentating.
That'd be great. Maybe I'll do that one, because that would be wonderful.
Because like I don't know how you feel about having a webcam or anything.
Yeah, I'm fine with them.
All right, because that would be amazing, especially if I get this the GoPro, because then it'll be wide angle and it'd get all like both of us easily.
That would be wonderful.
And if we did it at Noah's, right? He has super good internet too, so it's feasible.
Now it's just the part of convincing him is the more difficult thing. I would have to bribe him.
We'll give him inspiration.
2 chicky tendies and a new something. I don't know, something new.
Let me tell you what Trey told me earlier. Trey was like, so what I think is funny about Trey is he likes really fancy things, but he's also a meme lord.
That's true.
So like he likes smoking cigars, but he also likes like getting really nice whiskey glasses with the granite rocks, and then drinking, of course, just whiskey. He likes eating steaks. He likes the finer things. This is what he told me. So he's buying a house, right? And he goes, he goes, so I've been thinking, I kind of want my first meal in the house when I move in to be a steak. Just like a really good, really nice steak. And I was like, oh, that's cool. And then he goes, but then I was also thinking, and I kind of want a 50 McNugget bucket. I'm like,
so why doesn't he compromise? So what he does, right? Because Walmart is carrying Wagyu beef. Steaks are burgers. So he gets a Wagyu steak, right?
Yeah.
He cooks it. He sautés it. He sears it. He not just sears it, but he blowtorch sears it. So it's a beautiful, like crispy, perfect, like charred skin or whatever outer, and then he lays this delicious steak on a bed of nuggets. Perfect, with truffles and caviar.
Better yet, me and you come over there and we make it for him.
That'd be kind of fun. I love making steaks. I mean. So it's like I said before, I love making food for people, because what it does is that I get to experiment, and then I make a lot of food, because the problem is I make more food than just one person can eat, and even if I keep it in the refrigerator, I can only eat off of it for so long before it has to get thrown away.
Yeah.
So cooking in a large amount for a bunch of people, then they can go through it, and I can okay, it's not a waste. It went to people. Because I was like,
there's like a lot of things I think would be cool to do for like live streams and YouTube videos. One of them would be like a cooking stream. So the name of one of my YouTubers that I watch he's really entertaining. His name is Jericho.
Okay.
he does a live stream every once in a while, and excuse the cursing, but it's called shitty cooking. Because before he started live streaming it, he didn't cook at all.
Mm-hmm.
And so he literally started this live stream series of him learning how to cook.
Oh, that's cool.
And it's really funny because he'll do something like make a mistake, and then the chat will like roast him. He's like, "Come on, guys."
Your chicken is undercooked, but you got roasted. Yeah, because I've said before, like I would love to do it where almost like a catering service. So if I'm running a game for people, like even like a crossover, whatever, doesn't really matter. But as the players are just sitting around the table and we're talking, there's someone who like brings food in. Yes, they can be dressed like a tavern worker or whatever, like, you know what I mean? But that concept of like, there's someone who's bringing us like, well, I mean, I don't drink, but so bringing us like ale, ginger ale, or root beer, you know what I mean? Just bring us like refreshments or a whole turkey leg and grapes, something, you know what I mean? Like that concept where we're just chilling and talking and playing D&D, and then we're being served food that kind of fits the theme of like medieval and so forth. It would be really, really cool, just to have that would, because then I think what it would do is it would take my mind, because I don't mind like serving food during the D&D games, but I think it takes my mind off of like, okay, is this right? Is that going this way? Should I stop and cook and so forth? Now that you've witnessed me in the kitchen, like,
Very sanitary.
Yeah, boy. That's why it's like it. Yeah, I mean, it was fun. I wish I had a big griddle, so all the food would just be hot immediately and stay hot. But
Yeah.
it was good. It was good. Yeah. But I think so. Before we go to our segment, there's 3 little topics. They're kind of all connected that I just want to run through.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen Amazing Spider-Man 2? Have you seen that one?
Movie?
Yeah.
Spider-Man movie, if it's like
Okay.
real, like IRL kind of thing.
Okay. So Jamie Foxx, I don't think it's yet confirmed, but Jamie Foxx is supposedly going to be in Spider-Man, the sequel to Far From Home. As
The one that I linked you.
yeah. So that, I guess that one.
I don't know if that's
so-
true. That's the first time I ever saw that.
So a lot of people are saying, like, people are speculating Venom's going to be in it, and it's the fact that Jamie Foxx is going to supposedly play Electro again. And so there, people are kind of like, oh, okay, well, if he's playing Electro, then that might mean there's a multiverse, and then Doctor Strange is going to play a part in Spider-Man as well, which again, Doctor Strange is having the multiverse of madness. But according to a lot of people, that the director of Doctor Strange said that all the Spider-Man movies are a part of the MCU. And that kind of fits into the concept of, again, the playing with multiverse concepts. Because then there's rumors that Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire will reprise their roles as their respective Spider-Man. So that'd be kind of cool. I don't know. I'm kind of on board with that. I still think that, love or hate Spider-Man, Amazing Spider-Man 2, that was the best costume. Like, hands down, the most comic accurate Spider-Man thing. And even, what's her name? I think, or is it Amy Pascal? The head of Sony was like, we want to make it as true to the comic book. And that's the first time ever, like, Sony has made me like teary-eyed when it comes to their Spider-Man properties. They wanted it to be exact, and it was. It's really good. And then the other thing is that Deadpool 3 has been confirmed, and they're working with Disney, and it will be rated R still, though.
Ooh.
So that's going to be it.
They, like, for the new Spider-Mans, I like that they had like the same dude that played J. Jonah Jameson at the end.
Yeah.
It was like, he's doing, you know, his online podcast or news show, and he's like, apparently this guy is Spider-Man, and he just have that cut to like, what?
Yeah. Now, so And so that's my thing about it, because I didn't really enjoy completely, because again, anyone who's followed the comic books can go, oh, we know Mysterio is who he is. But then the trailers and movies are like, oh, the multiverse is a real thing. Not really. So the only thing I can think of is if this newest Spider-Man movie can help redeem that, because I still have an issue about like secret identities not being a thing in the Marvel universe and the movies.
Yeah.
Because especially with Peter Parker, he needs one. Like Tony Stark, meh. Captain America, he can do this all day. But I was like, most definitely, Peter Parker needs a secret identity. So, with that being said, the fact is that they do bring in 3 or 2 other Spider-Men, maybe more. They can go, no, Peter Parker is just a weak kid. This is the real Spider-Man, and you know what I mean, can move on from there.
Yeah.
Then I'm aboard.
I think, I don't know, I saw something. It was also going on the Venom thing, because the new Venom movie, like Let There Be Carnage, is coming out as well.
Yes.
Which I enjoy the Venom movies for what they are, not relating them to the comic books. I just think they're interesting. I think I'll probably end up liking it as well, because I like the comedy aspect between Venom and like Tom Hardy or whatever.
Yeah.
It's like tater tots. I love that. It's like, yes, that is me.
Yeah. I mean, there were good scenes in it. Because I was saying before, like, I love how Venom looked.
Yeah.
But that lack of spider just kind of makes me like, come on, where's that spider? I need that spider. So the lack of one kind of upset me a bit.
I sort of enjoyed how, like, I enjoyed all the scenes where they used the Venom, or he used the Venom power, like when he was jumping over the railing on the bike and stuff. I enjoyed all that. That was nice. It all looked really well done.
Yeah. Yes. Was there anything else you want to touch on, or we want to jump to the next segment? Last segment, I should say.
I read something, and it could have been just like one of those news articles, but I thought it said that like Tobey Maguire, the other Spider-Man, and whatever his name is, I forgot his name already. You said it a minute ago. What?
Andrew Garfield.
Yeah, Andrew Garfield. I'm pretty sure I thought I saw something that said they were all signed up to play in the new movie as well.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Like they're reprising their roles.
Okay. Well, it's probably going to be something like Into the Spider-Verse, but real.
Yeah, and so
live action.
That's one thing, because so Sony has this habit of going, we did something good, and then they go do something bad. So I hope that making Into the Spider-Verse light isn't going to hurt Into the Spider-Verse.
Yeah.
Or where, you know what I mean? Like, so they kind of not play on it, because there's so much cool stuff they can do for Into the Spider-Verse that they can hold off having to basically make 2 movies about the same subject. I
wonder if they're gonna have if they do go like the Into the Spider-Verse thing, like I wonder if there's going to be a like subtle nod to like Miles Morales in this movie.
Hey.
Exactly.
There has to be. And see, that's also the thing, is that it's kind of, how can I say it? So one of the strong features, other than like the tight writing and the animation and there was love and like Spider-Man nerddom that went into making Into the Spider-Verse. Like people still can deep dive and find things that they didn't find the first time, second time, 10th time watching the movie. So Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse is pulling off of the comics and the fandom. So I'm hoping that whatever this new one isn't pulling off of Into the Spider-Verse and thinking that's the reason why it was good. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Oh, it's like, oh well, it's good because there's now more Spider-Man. It's like, no, it was good because of the heart in it. Like that movie is still my favorite Spider-Man movie. It was just done so well. So I don't know. So I'll hope. Because yeah, so maybe if it's Venom, maybe it's a different Venom. Because I really don't want those two mingling. Like just stay away. And again, I love Venom is my favorite. Like one of my favorite like Marvel anti-villain or anti-heroes. I guess he's anti-villain if you think about it. But favorite like anti-hero, or villain, anti-venom is another thing you can call him, I guess. But yeah, so we'll see.
Well, I think it is time to move on to the last segment.
All right. So our last segment we do is going to be called "What Are You Watching, Playing, Reading, Listening to?" So, what's happening with you?
Well, watching, me, you, and Josh, or you, Josh, and I should say, all went to go see Fate, Heaven's Feel 3 Spring Song Friday. That is why there was no PiP that Friday. Very good. 9 out of 10, in my opinion. I think it did what it needed to do to like clear up as like an ending film into the trilogy. Because, of course, the whole thing was spread out over 3 films, so all the action would be the climax in the second movie.
Yeah.
But there was still that good, like really well done out or thought out like fight scene between Ryder and King Arthur.
That was amazing. Like that was a very phenomenal fight scene.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting music, but when it cut from like Sakura and Rin and went to them and there was music playing, I was like, huh.
It's really well done.
I also enjoy how they did Shiro in that. How, like, after he started using, Archer's arm, which is just him from the future, he started to turn into him, basically. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
It was that part where he got the necklace and Ren's like, where'd you get that? And he was like, it's something very important to me. I can never like let go of it. And that was 100% just Archer saying that. Because in Unlimited Blade, in all of the routes, he gets brought back to life by Rin using that. Because he gets killed by Lancer. But in Unlimited Blade Works, the route that made Archer, that is the catalyst that allowed Rin to summon him to begin with. Because he kept it for all that time. Anyway, watch that. 9 out of 10 in my book.
It's a good one.
Waiting on the next episode of Don Machi. Because episode 8 was spicy. I don't know if I said this on the podcast, but the main character, Bell Cronell or whatever, his name is, I think that's his name. He made friends with like the intelligent monsters, but everyone on the surface hates monsters no matter what. And so he sort of came out as like he protected a monster from getting killed outright. So now everyone's like, I don't know about this. But it ended with that monster getting killed, and then someone who's a sage that's lived for a very long time used a magic to resurrect it, basically. And so I'm excited to see what's gonna happen. That new episode comes out Friday. There was no My Hero Academia chapter that came out last Friday. That's coming out Sunday. Boruto, kind of iffy on the latest chapter. They went a little bit too sciencey and then sort of went back on it because Kurama was like, it's nuclear fission or fusion. It's how the sun works. And Naruto's like, what? He's like, don't worry about it. It's like, you don't need to explain it like that. I don't know. I didn't. It put me off. But
Yeah.
I think it could get better. It could redeem itself. I don't know when that chapter comes out though. The next one. Listening to just a bunch of music. Nothing in particular. Whatever's on like Spotify that comes on.
Maroon 5.
Yes.
No, it's because we were listening to that when we were building the table.
Yes, we were also listening to like Linkin Park and everything too. And that I think is pretty much it. Oh wait, no, playing Minecraft. But I think about to get back into Tarkov.
Okay.
Yeah.
So for myself, yeah, I always have to say, of course, watching Fate Stay, that one, like again, without even having, I think having limited knowledge of just different stuff between you talking in between like what I've read and then watched. No, I thoroughly enjoyed it. The fight scenes were phenomenal. The music was amazing. And it was very funny because watching, so Fate Stay Night, so the first original one, there's stuff when I first saw the characters, I didn't know that. I thought at the end of this series, just at the end of just Fate Stay Night, that this stuff would have happened. So nothing was really a surprise to me. Because I was just like, oh, this is going to happen, or this is going to happen, and this character is going to do that. And the fact that the movie in a more epic scale gave me exactly what I thought was going to happen. It was very interesting. But yeah, it was definitely a good movie. Reading I'm reading actually like Tasha's Cauldron of Everything more. And then some of the DMG. So nothing really outside of that. But I'll go into listening the Silmarillion, so Tolkien's book of just like the religion and religious history and so forth of the Middle Earth.
Yeah.
So listening to that, it's very interesting to listen to because there's time because it's like a 10-hour audiobook, and there's times like I was actually drifting off and having dreams where I'm in church and that's what they're preaching. It's just the world of Middle Earth, which is really funny. And then also just listening to a lot of Mumford & Son. I said before, it's very I enjoy Mumford & Son, so listen to a lot of that. And Mallory Knox is another artist that I've reconnected with listening to because I think he's phenomenal. Then watching, I've been watching a lot of Shudder. Not really just one, one show, but caught Shudder a bunch. It's a situation where it's like, hey, you want to try 7 days free? Sure. Cool. We'll see you re-up in November or December. I'm like, dang it, I forgot about that. But yeah. Yeah. Now, have you ever gone to Shudder? Like checked out their catalog?
I have not. I've only looked at like Crackle, I think. And then of course like Netflix, Crunchyroll.
Mm-hmm. Like if you can get the 7-day, try it. I would say just try it, but just be more attentive than I am when it comes to remembering when the deadline is. Because there's some of the movies I've been talking about, like Nori, the Curse. It's a found footage film. It's phenomenal. So that director has that, and then his sequel where it's really weird because it deals with ghosts, but it's about like idol girls and trying to become popular, and just it's really weird. But the acting is phenomenal on it. But yeah, I think that's really all that it's been playing. Haven't really played any games lately. I haven't really got into any other games other than D&D, of course. But yeah, I haven't really done any video games at
At
this
some
point.
point, we need to finish Baldur's Gate. At least
Yeah.
with early access.
Yeah, it was funny because I was just thinking that tonight. It's like, I'm not in the mood tonight, but yeah, I would love to actually finish playing Baldur's Gate.
I agree. I'm not in the mood tonight either.
But yeah, definitely.
Because we just got to the Underdark, but I guarantee we haven't done everything above ground yet.
I think it was just the weird nonsense of what happened when we went to the Underdark. I was like, okay, we're good for right now.
Yeah. It was a good stopping point.
Yeah, because like, what was it? Gel the wizard gets blown up by a trap. Like he takes the most damage out of everybody, and then it activates his like simulacrum to tell you, hey, this is how you get my body back and bring me back to life. All the while, we have our tiefling main character like dancing in the foreground, like in and out of camera frame. And then you see like behind him talking just explosions because his body's being still bombarded by gargoyles shooting fireballs. It's like, okay, all right. So you're just like, nah, we're not going to do that. Just resurrect him or revivify whatever.
He was like, you need to do this because it was like true restoration, right? Something like crazy. And I'm like, nah, we're just going to use a revivify. You just died. You don't need that.
And then like and then was it the bullet comes out and knocks the cleric off a cliff and she just falls forever, and they just throw her into the camp.
Yeah,
you have to go all the way back. So that's what we left the Underdog. We had to go all the way back to camp.
Yeah,
and she's just taking a nap. I'm like, oh my, okay, all right.
Someone had to get her up.
She's like suffering all the way at camp.
That bullet was funny though. It's just like yeehaw, and then it left. We didn't.
Yeah,
even beat it. It just left.
Because did we even take any damage off of it? Like, just kind of. It just seems like he's kind of like woo, just ran away.
No, we took some damage from it.
No, not from it. Like, did we hurt it? Did we attack it?
Oh no, we did.
Okay. I think I remember this now. I was like, I don't think bullets do that. Bullets don't really retreat. They're mean. They're land sharks.
Land shark.
Okay. Speed. Now, was there anything in chat? We're at 11:57.
The last thing that was written was Robert saying he owned an hourglass, like what you were describing.
Because see, the funny thing is, I actually have I have 12 egg timers. Just so they're all ripped out of their frame. I'll tell you the reason why later. It's a project that is on the list of College needs to finish art projects number 203. That's not an over exaggeration. I actually do have 200 different art projects written down. I just need to get an art studio and a shop, I think, and just do it. So when I tell people that with an art studio, people will have to go and find me. Like, they actually come visit me, because I will lock myself up and just work on art projects until the list is done.
Like I said, we'll just show up and be like, Khaled, we have hibachi. Are you in there?
Just like a hand comes out, just grabs food, disappears.
Yeah, I'm like, come on. We haven't seen you in 4 weeks. It's D&D day.
That's the only time I do appear. I'm just gonna, it's like whatchamacallit, like some Christopher Lee, Tim Burton character. I'm just gonna glide in, do D&D, then glide away, and then go back into it. Have to coax me out with cupcakes, since I am 100% addicted to them. I got these cupcakes. Thank you.
Goodbye.
But yeah, I mean, that I've said before though, like, because I used to do it in England where it's like my guy called my little brother, he would come over and we would just go into the art room and just do art. And there'll be times where like I'm drawing something up or painting something and he's sculpting, and like 2 hours pass, 3 hours pass, and then I'm like, we haven't been saying anything. We've literally just been like just sculpting and arting in silence. And I was like, it's still one of like the coolest weekends. So like if I'm doing art in a studio, I'm not so like against someone going, hey, can I paint, and picking up a brush or sculpting while I do a project. I love that idea actually. But yeah.
Well, it is now 12. Is there anything you would like to say before we end it?
No, I'm good. Hope everyone has a good night.
Yes. Hopefully everyone enjoys Thanksgiving, and if you don't celebrate it, hopefully you enjoy getting with your family and such.
Absolutely.
In general. And then there may be a guest episode of the PiP Friday. Unsure.
Well, yeah, next Friday.
Next Friday. So, okay. So we're not going to make up for last Friday this Friday.
No, just to keep us on pattern for the most part.
Okay. So no PiP episode this Friday. And if you want to watch any of the VODs, you can go to YouTube/OniCentral or the PiP Podcast or the Facebook page, the PiP Podcast, all the same, except for OniCentral. But every Tuesday, 10:30 p.m. to 12 a.m. is when we stream. So if you want to join us next time, there you go. Goodbye.